An amazing reaction when we got the prepared remarks this morning at around 8:30 in the market. We saw bond buying and futures buying. That's mitigated itself a little bit. Talk to us about the market reaction following the testimony and following the Q&A session.
Yes, absolutely. So when we saw the prepared testimony drop this morning, we saw a pretty strong reaction. I think that people were viewing a couple of Yellen's comments as dovish in light of comments that Governor Lael Brainerd made yesterday. So in particular, Yellen talked a little bit about inflation. It seemed like she was sort of flagging that as a potential problem for the Fed going forward. And I think that that's something people took a signal from. Now, I think that as Yellen spoke throughout her speech, she really made it clear that she still views inflation as a transitory issue. She still thinks that the Fed can continue hiking this year. And I think that probably caused some of the change.
So we didn't learn a huge amount new from this session with the House Financial Services Committee, but many of the questions were on balance sheet reduction, tapering of the balance sheet and so on. Did we get anything there that might give us something else to go on?
Right, absolutely. So she did get asked about the balance sheet several different times. She pretty much reiterated that they have really laid out a plan for the balance sheet. She made it extremely clear that when the Fed looks at the market reaction so far, they've been pretty pleased with how muted it's been. They don't see anything major happening. And she actually told us that she sees balance sheet unwinding happening relatively soon and that she doesn't think timing is a gigantic deal. I think those are two pretty important comments to focus on from this testimony. It's a little more than she's given us so far.
Now, the next thing to look towards, obviously, there's tomorrow and the next day of testimony, but also CPI data Friday. Is that what traders will be focused on, do you think, this week?
Absolutely. I think the inflation data on Friday is probably an extremely important number for the Fed. One of the bigger numbers we've had all year for the Fed, honestly, because I think it's sort of a make it or break it moment to see whether this really is transitory. You know, is this temporary step down in inflation something that's going to fade out, or is it something that we're going to continue seeing? I think that's going to be a really important
these factors, as she called them, going away?
Yeah, absolutely. And she kind of de-emphasized in her prepared remarks today whether it's a one-off or not.